Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into Fox Corporation's latest earnings call, fiscal 2025 results. Our whole goal here is, cut through the noise, the jargon, and pull out what really matters. The surprising bits, the big strategic plays from a major media player. That shortcut to getting up to speed fast.
Absolutely. And just to set the scene a bit, Fox is, well, it's built around those core areas:
Mm.
live news, live sports, and unscripted shows, traditionally strong on broadcast and cable, yeah. But what's really jumping out in these results is how fast they're moving into digital. So we'll unpack how they did this past year, what really drove things, and maybe most importantly, where they're putting their money next.
Okay, let's unpack that. They're calling fiscal 2025 their best year yet. Which, given how much the media world is changing, that's quite a claim. What were the big numbers, the headlines that really made it stand out?
Yeah, it's genuinely an impressive story. So for the full fiscal year, 2025, total revenues hit $16.30 billion. That's up a solid 17% from the year before. Their adjusted EBITDA, a measure of core profit from operations, that jumped to $3.62 billion, which is, wow, 26% growth.
6%, okay.
And adjusted earnings per share, EPS, basically profit per share, also a record, $4.78 per share. That's up 39%.
39%.
And maybe the most striking, free cash flow. So the cash left after running the business and maintaining assets, a full $3.0 billion. That's 100% growth, record levels.
Right, 100% growth in free cash flow definitely catches the eye. But okay, drilling down, what were the actual engines behind this, the specific segments or maybe events that really powered this record growth?
Well, there were several really key drivers. Super Bowl LAX was just massive for them, not just a broadcast. They called it the most watched telecast in U.S. history. And it pulled in over $800 million in gross ad revenue. Just a mess.
Say $100 million. Wow.
But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Tubi. Their free streaming service, it played a huge part. It was the most streamed Super Bowl in history. That actually helped push the total audience to that record 128 million viewer number.
Okay, that Tubi connection is interesting. What does that tell us about, who's watching on Tubi versus maybe traditional TV, and why is that significant for Fox?
It tells us a lot, actually. The Tubi audience for the game was quite different. Median age, 38, so younger. Also more female than the broadcast crowd. And get this, 40% of those Tubi viewers were aged 18 to 34.
40% in that key demo.
Exactly. So it's not just about more viewers, it's about reaching a different, younger group. It kind of shows Fox is capturing that next generation,
Yeah.
The future audience for these massive live events, they're finding them on Tubi. It shows real digital foresight.
Right, pulling that younger demo on digital for the biggest events. Smart. What about Fox News? As always a cornerstone for them. How did it perform in this record year?
Fox News just continued its dominance. Finished the fiscal year #1, most watched cable network, total day and prime time. They hit record audience share levels too, sometimes over 70% of the cable news audience. And they held over 60% share even in the last quarter.
70% share at times.
Yeah. And here's a real eye-opener. Second quarter in a row, Fox News was the second most watched network in Monday to Friday primetime across all of television. Only one broadcast network beat them.
Wow, across everything.
Yeah, and digital engagement was huge too. Over 1.5 billion YouTube views, 3.7 billion social media video views. Advertising was strong as well. Their scatter pricing, that's like last-minute ad buys, it was up 54% compared to the upfront rates they said earlier. Huge demand. Direct response ads were also up 30%. It signals real confidence from advertisers.
That ad pricing definitely speaks volumes about demand.
Okay, and live content you mentioned. Fox Sports must be another piece of this puzzle. What were the highlights there? Oh, absolutely. Fox Sports really solidified its spot. #1 network in live sports for the year. They had a great lineup. MLB postseason, college football Fridays, the NFL on Fox, obviously. And a big win was their first broadcast of the Indy 500, averaged over 7 million viewers. That's up 41% from the year before. Made it the most watched Indy 500 in like 17 years.
41% jump, that's significant.
It really is. It just, hammers home that point. Live sports are still king for drawing big, engaged crowds.
Right, that live factor is crucial. And Tubi, again, you mentioned its Super Bowl role, but its overall growth sounds like it's more than just a boost during big events.
Oh, much more. Tubi's growth is genuinely remarkable. Fiscal 2025, it crossed 100 million monthly active users, generated over $1.1 billion in revenue, and hit an all-time high share of total U.S. TV viewing, 2.2%.
Okay, over $1 billion in revenue from the free service.
Yeah, and it kept going strong in Q4. Total view time up 17%, revenue up 32%. That was actually the highest growth rate of any segment within Fox. And advertisers love it because it reaches that, quote, hard to reach audience. Two-thirds of Tubi users, they're cordless. No traditional cable bundle.
Ah, the cord cutters and cord nevers.
Exactly. So for you, the listener, it means Fox has this effective way to reach people who aren't watching old school TV anymore. That makes Tubi super valuable. They grew their upfront ad deals by over 35% this year. And they managed to do that while keeping their ad prices stable, which is tough in the competitive connected TV market.
Okay, so we see the drivers. Super Bowl, news dominance, sports strength, and this massive Tubi growth. So where does this leave them looking forward? What's the strategy now? Where are they putting their energy, their resources? What's the plan for navigating what's next in media?
Yeah, their forward strategy seems pretty clear and I'd say focused. Big news is the launch of FOX One. That's their new direct-to-consumer streaming platform. Launches August 21st. Price is $19.99 a month. The idea is to bring everything together: news, sports, entertainment, plus the Fox Nation stuff.
Okay, a bundled streaming service. Are they putting new exclusive shows on it?
That's the key thing, no. They were clear the investment doesn't include new original programming. The spending is really on marketing, launching it, getting the tech right. It's aimed mainly at that cordless market, people without cable. But existing cable subscribers can also get it by logging in, authenticating.
Interesting approach, just aggregating, not commissioning new content for them.
Yeah, and a unique angle they mentioned is trying to integrate local sports and news from their own stations and from affiliates right into the app. That could be compelling if they pull it off. But they're keeping expectations, let's say, modest for subscriber numbers early on. So the investment is measured, marketing spend is flexible.
Measured bets. Okay. And what about Tubi? It's grown so fast. Is profitability the next step?
Exactly, that's a major focus. After all that growth, Tubi is expected to show more substantial improvement in profitability in fiscal 2026. Probably more towards the second half of that year, they indicated. So, yeah, the AVOD strategy, the ad-supported streaming, seems to be maturing towards making money.
Makes sense. Any other big moves?
Well, they mentioned a small expansion into Latin America. They bought Caliente TV in Mexico. They see it as an opportunity for, again, modest investment spend to grow the Fox brand there. And overall, even with FOX One launching, their total digital investment across everything, Tubi, Fox Nation, Weather, Latam, FOX One Legend, is expected to settle back towards the fiscal 2024 level, around $350 million.
How does that work? New platform, but same overall spend.
Because Tubi's improving profitability is expected to help offset the new spending on FOX One. So they're shuffling resources internally, basically. And one more thing on the horizon, the FIFA Men's World Cup. That's coming later in fiscal 2026. They expect that to be another big driver, like the Super Bowl was.
Okay, so a clear focus on leveraging existing assets, building out direct-to-consumer carefully, and eyeing the next big sporting event. With all this going on, how's the actual financial health? The balance sheet. And what about shareholders? What are they getting back?
Financially, they seem very solid. They use the phrase never been stronger for the balance sheet. Ended the quarter with about $5.4 billion in cash, $6.6 billion in debt. Pretty healthy position. And for shareholders, big news there, they added another $5 billion to their share buyback program. That brings the total authorization to $12 billion.
$12 billion for buybacks.
Yeah, and since they started in late 2019, they've already bought back $6.65 billion worth. That's like 31% of their total shares outstanding. Significant return of capital. Plus, they bumped up the semi-annual dividend again to $28 per share.
So strong balance sheet, serious shareholder returns. What about M&A? Are they looking to buy anything?
They said they're always, looking at opportunities, as companies do. But they also stress they have a very high internal benchmark for using capital that way. Right now, they seem pretty focused on our organic growth. Suggests they're being disciplined, prioritizing what they can build themselves rather than buying big.
Right. Focus on the core. Makes sense given the results.
Ah.
Okay, last piece here, maybe. The advertising market. Fiscal has this unique mix: live news, live sports, Tubi's free streaming. How's the ad market looking for them?
They described it as healthy and robust, specifically for Fox, largely because, they're concentrated in those areas advertisers really want right now. The upfronts, those big annual ad deals, saw record-setting double-digit volume growth and strong pricing growth.
Double-digit volume growth, even with strong pricing. Impressive.
Very. National advertising is apparently very strong. Key sectors are pharma, financial services, consumer goods. The connected TV market where Tubi plays, they admit it's incredibly competitive.
Right.
But they feel Tubi is competing and winning very strongly. It's definitely benefiting as ad dollars shift away from traditional linear TV entertainment.
So money moving from scheduled TV to streaming ads.
Pretty much. The local ad market, though, is still a bit mixed. Some gains, like pharma again, but offset by weaker spending from telecom and restaurants, for example. They also made a point to mention their tremendous relationship with the NFL. Crucial partnership. And interestingly, they seem positive about the new leadership at the FCC, calling it pro-local stations and pro-competitive. They even think it could improve their relationships with affiliate stations.
Okay, an overall healthy ad picture, especially where Fox is strong, but maybe some mixed signals locally. So let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway here for you, listening in and trying to stay informed on media? We've seen Fox isn't just getting by, they're posting record numbers. Seems like it's down to that sharp focus on live content and really leaning into digital distribution with Tubi.
Yeah, I think that's right. Fiscal 2025 was just exceptional for them, driven by that lasting power of live news and sports, definitely. Plus the, frankly, phenomenal growth of Tubi, their AVOD platform.
Looking ahead, the strategy is about careful, measured bets. Direct-to-consumer, some international growth, all built on a really solid financial base, and they're clearly committed to shareholder returns. It really shows a company that knows its strengths live, engaged audiences, and is playing to them, navigating the shifts carefully.
It really is fascinating how having that clear, focused strategy on what's in high-demand live stuff basically can work so well. Even when the whole industry feels like it's constantly changing, it highlights knowing your audience, knowing how to reach them. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you to chew on. As this media landscape keeps evolving so quickly, what qualities in a media company do you think will matter most for long-term success? Is it that focus on live content? Is it nailing digital distribution like Tubi? Maybe it's just having that strong balance sheet. And how might thinking about that change how you consume media going forward?
Yeah. What really defines success in media today and tomorrow? Good question. A great thought to mull over. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.